Welcome. Hi. How are you doing? How are you feeling? In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm feeling. And I thought that you might appreciate a little well-being check-in because it's seems like a busy, intense time. In the United States, we just had an election, which included the presidential election. The holidays are coming up. And if you're into that sort of thing, there's also a really big full moon coming up in a couple of days. So I'm doing okay. I had an interesting situation with my health recently. Uh, Nothing serious, but I noticed that my heart rate was almost double what it normally is. And so I called my doctor, who is a lovely human being. I'm so grateful for my doctor. He had me come in and he did an EKG on my heart and it came back fine. Thank goodness. I recently found out that two of the medications that I take, when combined, can cause heart problems. And not at a higher dose than what I take, but still. Uh, so the good news is the doctor thinks that it's just a little bit of anxiety why my heart rate is elevated, but it's still within the normal range, which is which is great because I'm used to not being able to feel my heart like pound out of my chest. And my heart rate was around 90 beats per minute. And my doctor, who wears a watch that tells him what his heartbeat is, and says, well, my heartbeat right now is 85 beats per minute. And he said, and I know why. And he gave me the reasons, and it made perfect sense. But he still eased my anxiety over it. And it turns out that he thought it was a little anxiety due to the election. I ended up seeing him on November 5th, which was the actual day of the election. And I had actually been feeling a little off with my heartbeat for a couple of weeks. So that would make sense, a couple of weeks leading up to the election. Um, in another now the two are kind of related, but not really. I started with my doctor's help. I started weaning off one of the medications I take. I actually take two medications to help manage depression, but it stems from years ago. But the situation that I started taking the medication for was so traumatic that I've been staying on the medication because I never want to feel like that again. But what I've come to realize very recently is that my life is completely different now. And I am different than I was back then. I have grown. I have more experiences. I have more Al Anon behind me. I have uh, a solid, supportive relationship with my partner and with members of my family, uh, including my son, who was uh, which it wasn't always that way when he was struggling, but it is that way now. So I'll be weaning for about a month, and so I will keep you posted on how I'm feeling. we have so many facets in our lives, things that make our life colorful and vibrant. My, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my stepmom, who's been in my life for longer than my biological mom was in my life. My biological mom passed away when I was 39. I've known my stepmom since I was 13, and we've always been very, very close. She's always been a very stable force in my life, where my mom was a great mom. I love her so much, and I know she loved me so much. It was just my stepmom gave me something that my biological mom uh, couldn't do on her own, if that makes sense. She did a great job, great mom, but my stepmom, I really appreciated her as a maternal figure in my life. Well, a year ago, she was diagnosed with a mild cognitive impairment, and updated testing recently came back as progressive something dementia. I think it's cortical, but I want to say cerebral. No, I don't know. I don't know. The label's not important, but it's the issue is, uh, progressing as it does, and just keeping an eye on, not keeping an eye, supporting my dad and supporting my stepmom while keeping communication with my stepmom's children, we're all adults. We're all like in our 50s and 60s. So, I mean, we say kids, but like we're all adults, is something that uh, I have to keep my wits about me because it's very emotional. And so I just wanted to check in because I figured if all this is going on for me and I have such a relatively stress-free life, then I figured, maybe other people are kind of feeling this way too. Like I feel like I'm doing okay, but I feel like I'm having to really prioritize my serenity. I always do, but I feel like this week I said no to a social engagement because it it wasn't perfect for me, and I decided not to go. And so, for me that's kind of a sign that like it's real. Like I'm taking my serenity as my first priority. And I think the last thing that I want to say is that what keeps me feeling okay is that no matter what I'm dealing with, no matter how I feel, like the energy around me, when I am grounded in gratitude, love, and peace, and I remember that we're all connected, and no matter what goes on, we we need each other. We need to work together and solve issues together. We're always stronger together. And so I hope what I've said makes sense, and I will check in again fairly soon. So thank you for watching. Sending you love. Take care.